Welcome back. This is the Swampy Sooners podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 18th, and today we have a fantastic interview with John Suchan from the Dawg Pound Daily. Also writes for ClevelandSportsTalk.com. He is the host of the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Great talk with John. We discuss everything from, of course, Baker Mayfield situation. Is he going to be released? Is he going to be traded? What teams? We talk about the three Sooners who get drafted to Cleveland, which is something you don't see very often, with a bunch of teammates getting drafted to the same team. Of course, Perron Winfrey, Isaiah Thomas, Mike Woods. We talk about all that. Great talk with John. So enjoy the interview, and let's go. All right, welcome back to the Swampy Sooners podcast. We have JD March here as usual, the other Swampy brother here with the Swampy Sooners podcast. But today we have special guests. We have John Suchan from the Daily Dog out there in Cleveland. He's also the host of the Johnny Cleveland podcast. This dude is everything Ohio. John, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Thank you for having me on your show tonight. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. And I'll go ahead and say to everyone else that's going to be watching, yes, you see what he's wearing on his head. It's okay. It's okay. We have the bragging rights, at least right now, right? They have a lot more to be happy about, but we have the bragging rights. And when we got those bragging rights, it's somewhere we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Baker Mayfield because, John, you cover the Cleveland Browns, right?
Right. I write for Dawg Pound Daily, and it's a fan-sided group. I also write for Cleveland Sports Talk. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about Baker, talking a lot about Deshaun Watson, especially the last couple of days. Deshaun's, I guess, meeting yesterday down in Texas with this whole side thing that's going on off the field. But yeah, Baker is still in the news. Browns fans are annoyed. Browns fans are becoming more impatient. Browns fans have a hard time being patient within this whole process.
Well, we kind of are too. Like, to be honest, like one thing we were going to talk about is like the three players the Browns drafted from OU.
Yes.
Seems like you guys are just make up for lost time or something, right?
They are hitting the ground running. We love it. I mean, Browns fans are loving Perron Winfrey. What is it? Isaiah Thomas,
yeah.
And Mike Williams, the wide receiver who I'm still not quite sure what's all that, but Perron Winfrey, I'm telling you, after that first press conference, and then he's had some other meetings this last weekend. They had their rookie mini camp, and he's going to wear number 97, the number that he wore in high school. He's got tattooed on himself already, and he just feels like it's meant to be. He's barking to fans here on Instagram, and
oh man, just typical Perron.
Man, I'm telling you, he's winning a lot of fans early. Now there's a lot of hype, and he does a lot of talk. But if he can back it up, he's going to be a huge guy for this team and a huge fan favorite. I know guys that are already buying his jersey. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, let's just go ahead and get into that, JD. Let's go ahead and just start kind of, talking to John here about, what, he's, possibly saying. He's already kind of talking about how much he loves Perron, but dude, that's one person we can talk to. We could talk for an hour about Perron.
Oh my God.
About why he was a fan favorite.
He's such a freak, first off, just because of his size and his athleticism. But John, one thing I just want to know is how good of a fit is he going to be on this already pretty loaded defensive line? Is he just going to make it that much more volatile for Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney to come off the edge?
Yes. I mean, if they put him in that defensive tackle spot, potentially he could be starting. I think that's the big spiel, is that he knows that he could start, and the fans know that he could potentially be there on the first snap. It's going to it's funny. He was talking, I don't know if you watched any of what happened over the weekend, but he was part of winning the fans over is that he was talking about how he was going to copy Myles. If Myles went to the bathroom, he was going to go to the bathroom. If Myles was reading a book, he was going to read a book. I mean, It just no, I think it's really going to help. And the defensive tackle position is one that of need for the Browns. There's Jordan Elliott who came from Missouri, who will fit in there. Tommy Tagua, the Ohio State Buckeye, who had a few moments last year at the end of the year, who should get some time. But yeah, Perrion Winfrey's going to get his moments, and he's going to help. Miles, and if the Browns can get back Clowney's kind of waiting. A lot of people are impatient about that, but that's just because Clowney doesn't like to go to camps and he's just holding out. So, yeah, we're excited. I'm pumped. The schedule came out, and the Browns open up the season at Carolina. They have their home opener against the New York Jets. So with season tickets, I think it's going to be a great moment to see all those new guys. Anxious to see what Winfrey does in that first game.
Very good chance to start out 2-0. I mean, hey.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Now I don't know if you saw my latest on the Dawg Pound Daily, but basically a couple articles we talked about. The 5 toughest games of the Browns coming up throughout the season, and just the idea that like game 1 against Carolina, everyone there's a lot of people who are just saying, okay, that's an automatic win, but the real Browns fans know better. I mean, it's been 23 years. They're 1 win, 21 losses, and 1 tie. I don't care if Carolina brought out 5 guys. I'd still be worried the Browns wouldn't win that first game. It's a psychological thing, obviously, at this point. And we'll see what happens with all this news this week. I think we'll probably get some more news about Deshaun Watson, which is going to be big. So
now, what's oh yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so do you think this all could get wrapped up with Deshaun Watson by the end of this week?
Could, yeah. I think so. And I don't know. I get, you earlier in the week before he was meeting, there was some conversation about how these cases outside of off the field weren't going to be even tackled until April of 2023. So there were some people starting to say, well, Deshaun could probably play the whole season. Now the news broke that they've been meeting with the NFL, and the NFL basically, from what I've read, they say that, when the NFL is meeting with them, that's usually at the tail end of whatever they've been doing. So don't know if that's necessarily good or bad. If he does get any sort of suspension, I don't suspect it's going to be as lengthy as some people have said. I'm guessing maybe 4 games potentially. And if you look at the Browns' schedule, those first 4 games, you wonder what the NFL's doing behind the scenes, what they really know. Yeah. So
they're not going to take JD's boy, and treat him like JD's boy Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. I talked about that being one of the toughest games.
Respect to him, but he left.
Yeah, I know. I put New England. I put the Patriots game and the Bucks game as 2 of the tougher games for the Browns this upcoming season. Obviously, Tom Brady being with the Bucks. There's a lot of excitement in here. There's some Browns fans who love Tom Brady. For some reason, they think that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. I'm the one person
now
argue against
that. Is
he
not?
No, I'm going to argue that no. But
who is then?
Well, I'm old school. I go back to people like Joe Montana and some of these other guys from the past. I think Tom Brady has. I think Tom Brady's done I mean, you got to give him props. I mean, the guy's won championship after championship, so I got to give him some credit.
Joe Montana was a linebacker.
You don't even know who I'm talking about.
Nah,
you heard of Jerry Rice? No.
Oh yeah,
man. And I understand. People. Joe Montana. Yeah, he was the greatest of all time. Before you have Tom Brady, who has more Super Bowls than any franchise in the history of the game. It's kind of hard to defeat that, but. Again, I think like I wasn't sure, kind of like the whole there's a debate in basketball who's the greatest of all time, right? But
yeah,
if one player
who
has
is the
more
best in
championships,
basketball, by the way,
Michael Jordan.
Oh, Dirk Nowitzki in my eyes.
See now here, what now? Michael
Dirk
Jordan?
Nowitzki, 100% my ass.
Who?
Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
No, I'm messing with you guys.
That's
No, he was my idol growing up, but no, he was. No, if he was fast or something, maybe he could be up there. No, it's
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. I think if I'm going to use the same argument I'm using as Tom
Absolutely.
Brady, it
Michael
has to
was
be Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was somebody special. I mean, I know that a
Yeah.
lot of people want to put even, and I'm living here in Cleveland and Columbus, and LeBron is everything to Ohio, but Michael was just special. It's hard to explain if you didn't watch it, or haven't gone back and watched everything that he did. I mean, LeBron's he's tremendous, and they're both different types of, a little bit different in what they did for their team. So
Yeah.
And I think the younger generation now who didn't get to it, I'm talking about people younger than me and JD.
yeah, God, that's got to be really young.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, I think me and Jay both agree. Michael
Yeah.
is definitely the greatest of all time. But if I think what really is going to help Michael still keep his case, with the whole Michael Jordan, but then Kobe Bryant thing. But to be honest, like, not trying to say anything bad, but like, there were very few people saying Kobe Bryant was the greatest of all time before he died. And then,
Right.
of course, when someone dies, of course, that's going to
Sure.
up the case a little bit,
Sure.
emotion, stuff like that. But I think the Last Dance documentary, if
Oh yeah,
people actually
I watched
watch
that again. It was
then they're
on.
gonna know.
Yeah, I watched that again the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's insane. So, but yeah, no, Perry on Winfrey, get back to that. Somehow we started talking about Michael Jordan. But Perry on Winfrey is a dog, right? And we've and definitely the Browns saw it, right? But everyone else saw his combine, right? Because one thing me and JD can both attest to is Perry on Winfrey, and even oh my gosh, Isaiah Thomas, they were not used to their best of their abilities.
Same with Nick Bonito. Third down, what does Nick Bonito do? He's our best pass rusher. He's in coverage. Perry on Winfrey isn't even on the field on second down. Isaiah Thomas is being pushed inside when he's really a defensive end and an edge rusher. So Alex Grinch just did so many things wrong with the development of these players that I believe Perrion should have been a first rounder, honestly.
Oh yeah, and there was talk about.
I think he's going to be the steal of the draft.
Oh, we're pumped. The other guy here in Cleveland that we like, he's not an Oklahoma Sooner, but the David Bell wide receiver is getting a lot of play here.
Out of Purdue. Yep.
Yeah, just a solid receiver, catches a lot of things. And now with Jarvis Landry going down to there you go. You got your guy.
Baby? Who that?
Did you see that contract that he signed?
Oh, dude.
Like, it was minimum.
That's the hometown discount, dude. What was it?
I know.
$1 year, $3 million with option to make 6 or something, or incentives up to 6. Hometown discount. This dude believes in that's happening in New Orleans. So you fools better watch out. That's all I gotta say. Man, we building something special. We get that home talent back home.
He'll come back. The Saints come to Cleveland sometime in November.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see if Jarvis, gets that far and doesn't get injured. He's getting older now and aging.
What did ticket prices run for Browns games, John?
Well, I can just say season tickets right now. Like I don't know. I think I'm paying. It varies from game to game. Now they do that. It's stupid. Like they change the cost based on the team that they're playing. It's kind of anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking like $80-$90 right now is the standard upper deck. Is where I'm at. But yeah, I was looking at the Browns play the Miami Dolphins in early November, and I was looking at those. They have single game tickets still available for that, so they're selling those down there for upper deck like $75-$80.
Man, I might be taking a trip up to Cleveland.
But if you sit down in the lower bowl, then you're talking $200-$300. When I went to the Chiefs game last year, Browns opened the season against the KC Chiefs up there against Patrick Mahomes, and man, I paid $400 plus per ticket. It was nuts. And then by the time the game rolled around, those tickets dropped to crazy low. Like if I had
Wait,
waited, yeah,
what game was it again?
this is the opening game. Yeah, last year
Oh, last year.
it
Okay.
was that rematch of because the Browns and the Chiefs had played in the AFC divisional championship
Yeah.
before, and so they opened up at Kansas City. Part of my podcast and my TikTok, we did this huge 100-day countdown. If you check out my TikTok, you can see some of those.
All
And
right.
I took it
John
all
on
the
the
way to
Tic
Kansas.
Tacs.
Yeah, you should see it. Yeah, they were pretty good. And I think I got a couple 100,000 or 1,000 views on one or two of them.
Nice.
It was decent for an old guy like me.
That's it, man.
Uh,
Hey.
Right on.
Anyway, yeah, we took
But
that to Kansas City. And yeah.
It actually just blows my mind hearing you talk about ticket prices for NFL games, but if you try to go to a major college football game where, like, say Ohio State is playing Oklahoma, you're paying almost double that.
Oh yeah. No, I mean these are sick. I mean, yeah, I mean if you get like I was on looking on Vivid or Ticketmaster, some of those tickets are spiked a little bit more for the NFL games.
Yeah.
But your typical. I mean, honestly, when I started getting those season tickets for Cleveland, upper deck seats, I was paying $55 per seat, which isn't bad. I mean,
Wow.
back in the day, even Kansas City, I had season tickets to the Chiefs a couple seasons in a row, and I'm an educator. They were giving educator had the special deal. We were getting upper deck seats at Arrowhead for $25 a piece. That's it. So for the whole season,
Wow.
I mean, I was paying $500 a year for 2 tickets in the upper deck. It was
Wow.
great. That was back in early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
That's insane. But like, I can't even imagine. So John, if you didn't know this, next season, not this coming season, but the next season, Georgia Bulldogs are coming to Norman to play OU.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
can't even imagine.
What year?
those ticket prices would
2024?
be.
2023.
2023. So not this year, this next year.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, tickets are going to be.
Are you going to sit at the stadium starting now? Are you gonna wait to get your seats?
Yeah, and I'm going to camp out in front of the Baker statue. That's what I'm
sorry.
gonna do.
That's how we used to do it. Before back in the day. I'm just for those of you who are older that might be listening to this.
School us, man.
You know this, right? I mean, well, maybe you don't. I mean, when I went to Browns games back in, when they were really good back in the late 80s, Bernie Kosar was the quarterback there. I don't know if you know anything about the Browns used to play Denver in the late 80s, early 90s. Denver kept beating them. But those games, if you wanted tickets, you had, Ticketmaster, but you didn't have the internet and anything. You had to literally go up to Cleveland, go to the stadium. Yeah, you had to sit out there. People would go out there the day before, 2 days before, park themselves in front of the municipal stadium, camp out and, get their tickets. It was nuts, but that's how you had to do it. You would literally would have to go to certain locations. Most of the time it was just the stadium. So I got tickets to the playoff games in 86, 87. You guys probably weren't even born then, right? So how
95.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean that's how. I mean now you got. I mean we get on there. You can do all this stuff, and get your tickets. But yeah, you really had to go through great lengths to get those seats.
Dude, that's insane. The internet, it's crazy. How much the internet has changed things. Right?
Oh yeah.
Ticketmaster with all these stupid ass fees and all that stuff.
Well,
that they
they're all
charge you.
scams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell him, JD. Is this a JD TED Talk right here? We're about to get ready for.
Well, I can't stand how as soon as the tickets go on sale, they buy all of them up and then they prorate them for 100% profit.
Yeah. Right.
So you have
I
to be
was
a
looking at
season ticket holder.
I was looking at StubHub, Ticketmaster, and Vivid. Now the Vivid, I was looking at the Miami Dolphins game, and it seemed like Vivid. I don't know much about any of these. If you guys do, but their numbers were lower than either one of the other two by quite a bit, and I was surprised by that. I don't know. Do you guys have any insight on this?
StubHub's the worst.
Okay.
And Vivid is
okay. So here's
two
sites to use. Game Time is one that literally they get the lowest prices on last minute ticket drops.
Okay.
And then TickPick is one that guarantees no service fees.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ticket pick? Wait, tick.
Tick pick.
Tick pick.
Okay. How do you spell it?
Jetty, send him a tick pick link.
Yeah.
It's going to. Oh man! Oh gosh!
Tick
How
pick,
do we
not
keep
dick
getting
pic.
off of this subject, man?
Say that one more time.
It's tick pick, not dick
I think it's like
pic.
TIXPIX. I think.
Never mind. I was going the other direction too. You could change it up with one more.
Oh well, see, JD's classy. He's not gonna get super. He's not gonna get super vulgar with some stuff. He'll keep it classy. But the next Sooner that got drafted was who I love.
Yes.
Probably, of course, everyone loves Perion, right? The dude's a monster. He's a freak. He wears freaking Jason and Michael Myers on his thigh pads.
Yeah.
Awesome. But another fan favorite, but someone that stuck around and played, a long time at OU, Isaiah Thomas, who JD was saying, again, did not get used to his full ability because the dude's 6'4". What was he, about 250 at OU before he started working out, JD? About right? He's a big dude, but he's not like NFL heavy yet. But this dude was a great pass rusher. But they would put him down and have him and Perion on the inside. Like
so are they both? I think that's been discussed already here in Cleveland a little bit about both their guys. I mean, they're big, they're tall, but they still need to get some strength.
I think Perion is probably okay if I had to guess. Isaiah, definitely. He's tall, lanky. You look at him, he looks.
So
huge.
why did he go in the 7th round? Why did we go so? I mean, why did he fall?
Okay, so here's my theory on it, and is that when Lincoln Riley got the job in 2017, he kept Bob Stoops' strength coach that he had since 1999, and he has been at Texas A&M since 2018. That's when he accepted the job. So Texas A&M has developed its players to where their bodies are ready for the NFL. And Lincoln Riley hired a guy, Dylan actually informed me on this, that he got popular off of, what was it, a yoga?
Okay, so he was on a
Pilates.
No.
Okay.
That's what he was doing. He had the Sooners doing like yoga and Pilates and stuff. No, this guy was he was on some TV show called like some TV like workout show, right? And he was like the first season of it. I think it was called like American Warrior. I don't know. But
American Warrior.
You keep talking about what you're saying. I'll look up what TV show it was.
So
it was very,
They bring him in 2018, and until now, he's been the strength coach. And when he left, and the strength coach that Bob Stoops had all those years came back to Oklahoma with Brent Venables. And when they tested all the players, only one offensive lineman could bench over 300 pounds 10 times. So I believe that they weren't developed properly strength-wise. So with them being in an NFL strength program now, they're going to get their bodies right. And I believe Isaiah Thomas will contribute a lot, just like Perry on Winfrey.
Well, I think there's a lot of us feel like he'll make, even though he's a 7th round pick, that he'll be another kind of one of those steals that the Browns can certainly get something out of him this next year.
Yeah,
he might not play a lot.
This guy has a whole website.
Who does?
The former strength coach. His name is Benny Wiley. Right.
Okay.
Season 1 winner of NBC's Strong. That's the name of it, just Strong. And after that, he was a celebrity personal trainer. And then I guess he wanted to get involved in sports. And then I don't know where he was, but then he got hired on at, Oklahoma, and then left with Lincoln Riley, which is perfect for him, right? Because he was
now he's at
doing
USC
all that stuff. But the fact that we had one offensive lineman that could bench 300 pounds 10 times. And you see the size of these guys.
Yes,
it's insane. And he had them. JD, what was the thing Jerry Schmidt said once he got hired back on at OU? Like, what did he say? Like, what is this, a yoga studio or something? Because he was looking at all the equipment.
Word for word, this is not a fucking yoga studio. Get the heart rate monitors off the treadmills.
That's insane. Yeah. So, but no, we got Jerry Schmidt back from Texas A&M, and we can already see some differences. It's insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a great moment. You guys talked. I know off the air when we talked a little bit. You mentioned Baker, and you guys both went to that ceremony a few weeks back. Just how that really was such a difference. I heard your podcast from a few weeks back talking about that.
The fact that we put more fans out there than Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, who typically pretty much sell out their stadiums. And we had so many recruits there. And we had north of 50 like top elite recruits, along with players that will fit the scheme very well. And we had over 200 former players. It was just the camaraderie of brotherhood shown, and then the fan base just there supporting Baker, and it was just the best. It couldn't have been more perfect in my eyes.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It really was cool. Me and JD were in like spitting distance of Jason Witten for some reason. He was sitting in the family. Yeah, he was like sitting in the family like section of like the recruits.
Okay.
Because we were sitting right next to him. I could have thrown a piece of popcorn and hit him in the forehead,
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was cool. I don't know if he's got a kid there, but it was just really dope.
Change the subject just real quick, but back to the Browns. But just as an update, there's been some fun making fun of Baker here in Cleveland because I guess Deshaun Watson is taking he's made plans with the offense. The entire offensive part of the team, they're going to the Bahamas this weekend to do some
in the
team.
Bahamas.
Who is?
I think almost certain Baker's in the Bahamas right now.
Really? Do you have that?
Keep talking. I think I saw something on that.
Really? That's interesting. Well, because, it's been the whole thing with Baker, and he's still on the roster. Some people think that he could still potentially play here in Cleveland if Cleveland decides that Deshaun is going to be suspended for the whole year, or that's not going to. I don't believe that's going to happen. But the Browns have got 5 other quarterbacks now. They've picked up behind Deshaun, and I think that's 5, including Baker, so maybe 4 guys. Yeah. But the big news was that Watson's taking the offense like on a free trip to the Bahamas. He's paying for it. And the Browns the coaches or whatever, they're all good for it. All the guys have been working on getting their passports. I think there's like 5 or 6 guys that aren't going because they weren't able to get their passports. But some people have been making fun of Baker that why didn't Baker ever do this? So,
he's on a rookie contract.
I mean, it's like, come on, like, how many quarterbacks outside of Tom Brady would take their guys down to like these places? I mean, it just, like a year ago before all this stuff blew up, with Baker and Jarvis and Odell. I mean, if you recall, I don't know, you guys are, follow Baker. Do you remember right before the season or in between the summer workouts, he went out west? Like Baker took some of the guys like Odell and Jarvis, and they went out to like Colorado and worked out. I don't know if you remember any of that, but anyway, Baker can't win.
No, I could have swore I saw a picture of him touching a boat.
Oh, that's fake. No, that was fake.
Dang. I got swindled.
Yes, you did.
You got Dylan.
I got got.
All right, so since we're on the
that was photoshopped. Like, yeah.
Since we're on the subject with Baker, I just have to ask, like, now, because he came off such a great year where he led the Browns to the first playoff win, and it was forever. How many years was it, John?
19. Last playoff win.
Yeah.
Was 94 when they beat the New England Patriots before Tom Brady.
Yeah, but not only that, but it was
30 years ago. Not
only that, but it was against arguably the team y'all hate the most, and the Steelers.
Right.
And So he comes off that, and my main question is, with him getting hurt and not inside his pride, did that play the biggest factor in him leading to this point, or were some things already festering before the season started that maybe nobody even really noticed, and maybe it was due to having a new coach and a new GM? Like,
Yeah,
what really was
I
it that
think you're
started
all.
it?
I think that's all accurate. I think what you're speculating on is, I mean, I'd love to know what's going on. We all do. I do think that what happened in 2020 and Baker taking the team to the playoffs was just, phenomenal. It was magical. I mean, everybody, when Baker beat the Steelers twice, 2 weeks in a row to get them into the playoffs and to beat them, I mean, Baker could have been the king of, I mean, people were talking about him being bigger than LeBron James. I mean, if a quarterback in Cleveland can do that, I mean, to take them to a Super Bowl. Anyway, yeah, I think what we saw, at least what I saw, I mean, you go back and think about Baker 2018 coming in. He didn't start. Hugh Jackson was here. Hugh Jackson's an idiot.
Thank you.
And I mean, he's a moron. Um, and he didn't start Baker right away. Finally put Baker in game halfway through game 3 because Tyrod Taylor goes down and Baker just blew it up, beat the Jets in that game. It was phenomenal. Had a good, decent year in 2018. But like you guys are saying, the coaches, all these different coaches, um, they go through this whole thing. Freddie Kitchens, they bring in for that following year in 2019. If you recall, 2019, Odell Beckham was here, Jarvis was here. It didn't work out. I mean, every weekend here in Cleveland, there was or during the week, there was a sideshow between either it was Baker doing something or Freddie Kitchens saying something.
Watch playing.
Yeah, it was like a soapbox. Yeah, it was just everyone was like, everyone was playing the blame game. Baker was part of that, and um, then the pandemic hits 2020. I mean, to be honest, I mean, they were playing in empty stadiums. Not gonna, I give Baker a lot of credit, but you think about some of these circumstances, and Cleveland got on a roll. They had their new coach. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that JD. I think I believe there's always been something underneath the surface that and Baker, carries a broad, shoulders and he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's had that wherever he's gone. That's how he thrives.
Feels like he has to defend himself from every criticism.
Yes, and I think everything was going hunky dory, and then he plows into that guy this past year in Game 2 against the Texans. He made a mistake. He was, I don't know. You guys have watched him too. I believe that there's something psychological there mentally. You know how you go through these stages, and you're playing a high risk game, high stakes. You're getting paid millions of dollars. It's the NFL. He's got progressive commercials. So,
yes, the next one going to be him putting a for sale sign out in front. Gotta ask that.
You gotta have. That would be. I mean. Don't you guys? I mean, I know you guys love Baker. I mean, people that don't even know who Baker Mayfield is, they like those commercials, and so I think it was a good thing for progressive. And I could, I definitely would do it. I mean, progressive's pretty clever. Yeah,
they have to do that. Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered the question like completely, but I think that. If he had not, like JD, injured himself, and I think we talked about this one other time with the time frame, and then the Browns kind of looking at Deshaun Watson more, kind of started more back in November, and was it a coincidence? Baker was struggling. The idea that Deshaun Watson would be available potentially at this point, teams are starting to find that out. So yeah, I think if Baker had stayed here, the fact that they didn't sign him to an extension prior to, going into last season, that was worrisome. Now, like the Browns, shortly after this season did sign Denzel Ward, their cornerback, who was also, fifth year going, and they played it out, but he's been injury prone too. I'm not sold on Denzel, even though, he's had some all pro type seasons. He's also struggled, with injuries. So,
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I read your article on I think it was like top 5 landing spots for Baker, right?
Yeah.
And we'll kind of get into that. But my question is like, so do you think the Browns eventually trade him? Or do you feel like the Browns kind of set them up for a situation where teams are kind of now in the thought process of, why would we do the Browns any favors of helping to split this 18 million?
Right.
Whenever you could just release him and we can just get him on a new deal. Like,
I don't believe
what do you think is going to happen?
I don't think the Browns are going to straight out release him. There's something going on that we aren't privy to. Why did the Browns? I mean, I'll get back to answering the question with Baker, but the Browns released Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah,
middle of the season, they released him. They worked out a deal and they let him go to the Rams. So why aren't the Browns being, obviously, why aren't they being so kind to Baker? Baker, who's been with the Browns for 4 years. What's going on? That's so, yeah, I don't think the Browns are gonna, Andrew Berry, I can't see him just straight out releasing him. At this point, it's a mind game. I don't know if they expected to be in this spot. But Andrew Berry is very tactical. Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Browns, is very, he works the numbers and he has things going on that we aren't privy to. So I don't think he's gonna just straight out release him. Obviously, that's the news. People say, "Oh, just release him," and the Steelers will pick him up. But why hasn't he been trade? Like, I guess. And I know you guys like Baker, you've watched him, and I guess the $18-19 million contract, if he was that good, or if there wasn't something going on that we don't know about, or him in the locker room or something, some team in the NFL, who would take that contract, maybe they would, the Browns, they could work something out rather than where we are right now. So there's something going on. It's like, and you think about somebody like Colin Kaepernick. I'm going back to I know Baker's going to sign somebody, but you think about somebody like Colin Kaepernick who's not playing anymore. He's not going to, but he was, a star, did some things, and now he can't get a job. I hope, for Baker's sake, I hope that never doesn't happen. You guys don't think that's going to happen?
No, I don't think that will happen.
Yeah.
I think I think you're right. I think there is something happening. Just, I don't know. Like,
I think Seattle, the Lions, Carolina still is throwing out stuff that they're saying. It could be a team like Tampa Bay, who Tom Brady's there, but Tampa would be a nice spot. Houston, I think Houston would be. Even though we just had all these things with Houston and the trades, Houston wants to make a mark, and they're doing some things. They tied up Brandon Cooks, who, man, I would have loved to grab Brandon Cooks. My God, that would have been. I wrote an article about.
We both had him on our team, so
he was special in New Orleans when he started off.
Yeah, didn't he play? Yeah, he was with you guys in the Patriots.
He played for the Patriots too.
He was with us, and he got sent back to his bed against the Eagles and was knocked out the rest of the game. He got a little waylaid.
Now, I'll say this today, not to change the subject on Baker again, but Donovan Peoples-Jones, the wide receiver for the Browns tonight, posted a picture of OBJ, of him and OBJ together, and said, "I really miss you." Something like, so everyone's speculating, is OBJ going to come back to the Browns, even though he's been injured, he probably won't play, but
I would.
That keeps
Watson's an attraction, man.
It is, yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, where do you find? Do you? What do you two think about Baker and releasing or trading?
I think, honestly, what I think is going on, just from my personal view, is that the Browns and they really screwed the pooch when it came to their situation on the fact that they tarnish the relationship with Baker at first, and now they're trying to get teams to take all the contract pretty much, and not even wanting to pay. What was, I think it was, uh Carolina takes 70% of the contract.
Is that what you heard? Okay.
That's what I read. But I just believe they put themselves in this situation, and every team, every general manager in the NFL is looking at it like, why would I give up something for you that you can't even get rid of this?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about product wise.
Yeah.
And so I think everyone's just playing the waiting game until he eventually is
And then the
released. So I
Browns, don't they have the? I mean, the Browns, they don't have to do anything. I mean,
they could
Baker can't.
literally keep him on the team
Yeah.
for one more year and then just let him go free
Yeah.
agency. The one I want to throw a wild card team at you though, John.
Mm-hmm.
I might be a little biased and I want it to happen, but what do you think on the sole fact that the Patriots, even though it might have been Josh McDaniels, but Bill Belichick's the one that makes those final calls,
I
and
asked. Yeah.
the reporters that the reports that came out the day after the draft that the Patriots had a trade package lined up with the Giants for if Cleveland didn't take Baker, they were trading up to Baker. Do you think that the fire there to have him in New England is still strong?
I
Or
asked. So I talked to some of my colleagues at Dawg Pound Daily because I shared your um a couple, what is it, a week ago, that the Patriots released one of their backup
yes, it
quarterbacks.
was last week. Yes, Jared Stidham.
Yeah, and so I sent that on to some of the guys at Dog Pound Daily, and their assessment on it was that was more of a Josh McDaniels kind of play for Baker initially. That they didn't think that Bill Belichick would go down that route, especially in the position that Baker, or kind of who Baker is. That they didn't feel like that would be a good fit
Yeah.
for Baker. Um, I Bill Belichick surprises. I mean, you've followed the team more than I do.
Well,
When he
Garrett
was here in
Blunt
Cleveland,
just walks off the field, goes and sits on the bus. Next week, he's running the ball for Bill Belichick.
right? It's interesting. It's very, yeah. Bill will surprise you, and I would not say no if it happened. I would not shock me at all. And honestly, Mac Jones is there, and that's the other, like, well, they got Mac Jones. I'm like, well, yeah, I know they got Mac Jones there, but it's Baker. It's,
Yeah.
uh,
I don't believe that the Pats are fully sold on Mac Jones either.
well, I don't, yeah, and I think he's a dirty player. I'm sorry, I'm going back to when he tries to trip, offensive or defense or whatever. Didn't
Mhm.
Mac Jones, wasn't he the one who was trying to take out somebody's knee?
Hey, that was an accident. All right.
Oh,
Just lay off of him. All right.
yeah, Alabama kid. He's
But
just, yeah. Okay.
but like think about this too, though. You guys, you're saying Belichick surprises people, but you're also saying there's something happening. We just don't know what. And the team that's probably the best at keeping things behind a curtain
Yes.
is New England.
Well, and the Browns are keeping. See, that's the thing. I think that we're all talking about all these things and different teams, and I right on there. I think that the Browns aren't giving anybody any information, and when the whole Deshaun Watson thing happened,
Yep.
it was out of left field. I mean, there was all these reports saying, well, the Browns aren't in the mix, and then it changed in 12 hours, and I didn't know the Browns are. If you listen to the media here, the local media that follows the team closest, they all say the same thing, like you're talking about with New England. They don't leak they're not leaking stuff. Like in the past when Freddie was here and Hugh Jackson, there was always things going on. Joe Banner used to be part of the Browns organization. Joe is a guy at the, I don't know if you recognize that name, but he's always still saying crap about the Browns, and because he gets annoyed because the Browns are very very quiet. They don't give. So, man, I tell you, Baker going to New England would not be the biggest shock. I think that would be kind of a cool thing. I mean, I like to see Baker succeed. I liked him as a quarterback. Well, watching him, he brought this team. He brought Cleveland back to reality. They brought him back to respect. And
yeah, I mean, I will say this. In 2000, from 2012 to like 14, Oklahoma was kind of like plateauing with fan excitement, I would say. And then Baker, it was after we lost to Clemson and the Cheez-It.
We didn't lose.
Oh, we got
annihilated.
Right. I remember those games. Yeah.
It was like the lowest point of OU football since I can remember.
The other connection that we always like too about Oklahoma, you talk about your old classic Bob Stoops.
Yep.
The connection with Ohio, Bob Stoops and his brother and all, they're all from Ohio, from this region. So it's always been kind of a cool connection, even when,
yeah.
Especially when he's coaching, and in every single year it's like Bob Stoops to the Browns. Bob Stoops to the Browns?
That's right.
Bob Stoops to the Browns?
So you're saying after 2014, then when Baker came in?
When Baker came in 2015 and we were down, was it Dylan 17-0 to Tennessee in the fourth quarter?
Favorite
really
games of all time.
What year?
Yes. 2015. Go watch the fourth quarter because Baker couldn't do anything in the first three quarters. He really it was at Tennessee, second week of the year, so the crowd they got 110 and they're strong.
Yeah.
And it's just good old Rocky Top is playing. Yeah. They're beating us 17-0 in the fourth quarter, and Baker just turned a switch on, and he led a comeback win to where we won 31-24 in double overtime.
Nice.
And that's when Baker became Baker, though, because that was early in the season. Yeah, that's when he became Baker. He wasn't Baker Mayfield. This dude was Baker, right? Like shake and bake, all that stuff, right? But because that was his first season, he played like 2 games, played all right, stuff like that. But 17-0, and when you watch, like if you just pull up the highlights, they're going to show the beginning of that game. They're up 10-0, I think, or 14-0 at one point, and they're showing the Tennessee players on the field about to do kickoff, jumping up and down. But then they show the entire stadium. They're checkered off, 110 strong. You can probably ask Judy. I remember this feeling. I was sitting there on the couch at our Uncle Joel's, and I remember sitting there thinking to myself, we are screwed. We had no hope whatsoever.
I was like,
Baker flips a stretch, and then he runs a touchdown in to, come in with one score, and he literally goes to 110,000 people. Does that?
Well, he came here and beat Ohio State. I mean,
Yep. You guys came in here and beat us first.
Yeah.
Jimmy was at that game.
I went to that one. That one hurt.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. Well, that's we'll see what happens. The Lions again, John Dorsey, the guy that actually picked
I think that'd be a good fit.
I think it would. The only thing about the Lions right now, Chris Spielman, former Buckeye, part of the Detroit Lions organization now. I've listened to Chris has had his own radio shows and different podcasts that I've listened to for years. Even as he was doing podcasting right before he took the Lions job, and listened to Chris talk a lot about Baker. Because they talked about the Browns, they talked about the Buckeye, all these things. And Chris was never sold on Baker, especially with, like I was talking earlier about the season back in 2008 or 19, when they were kind of going through the rough patch and everyone was pointing the finger at each other, Jarvis and Odell and Baker, So I wonder about that. Like, I think I like, John Dorsey picked Baker, but then you got somebody like Chris Spielman who's in the same organization. I wonder how that would look if they're actually really thinking about it. So,
But if we're doing the fun aspect of thinking about the Lions and Baker, you have that psychopath.
yes. Oh my
That
God.
psychopath
Yeah.
and Dan Campbell
Oh yeah.
feeding Baker's ego
Oh
and
God.
telling him to literally show have your emotions on your sleeve,
Right.
which is what Dan Campbell's all about.
Right.
That is top tier Baker content for
See, now let me ask you
everybody in the
that.
NFL.
Now let me ask you this: so, like Matt Rule down in Carolina with the Panthers, okay,
Mhm.
he's struggled. Everything I read about Carolina, and I was reading up a little bit about them when I was doing one of my articles. I mean, Matt Rule's in trouble. I mean, that if he doesn't get off, what?
What I believe is he's a college coach that wants to be an NFL coach because of his coaching style, which is try to motivate the players and not guide them, if you get what I'm saying. Because NFL locker room, you can't motivate a professional because a professional already is motivated by themselves.
Sure.
It's just kind of annoying to them.
You can't even guide professionals.
But I'm thinking like Carolina, the doors still would be open to Baker because he's in a bind. He needs to win. He's not going to win with Sam Darnold. He's just not. And I wondered, like, even the competition, you think about Darnold and Baker, those were two of the guys that, who was going to be drafted first. And now you have to go head to head. I think that would be fascinating. And then on top of that, you give Baker an added incentive that they open up the season in 4 months against the Browns. In Carolina, the Browns are 121-1. They haven't, so it's a psychological thing. What a crazy mess that would look like. That would just be fun soapbox that whole week.
Yeah, and I'm with JD on that. Yeah, Matt Rule, he was an outstanding college coach. What he was
I don't think you don't expect him to stay, right? I mean, JD, you don't think I don't see him lasting.
Oh no, I think he'll be gone by I'm gonna say game
4.
6.
Yeah, I think 4 is a little too early.
Unless they get off to like a 3-1 start, I don't see him lasting through game 6.
But I would say this: if he wants to keep his job, which he does, because he doesn't want to go back to college, he apparently said he hates recruiting. So if he wants to keep his job, what he needs to do is do something that's going to buy him a year, which would be to get Baker into Carolina.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, say if he gets him like, really close to the season, you sit there, you have a full season, and then you have that next full off season to get everything in place. That buys him a whole nother year as well, I think. So
very good.
Not sure. But other than that, hey guys, so I don't really have anything else. You guys got anything else? Got any final thoughts?
I'm good, man. This was fun.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to have you on the Johnny Cleveland podcast here soon.
Dude, reach out.
Yes, sir.
We will talk forever.
We need to talk about your boys from Perion, Isaiah. I think the Cleveland fans would love that, and we can push that out with the Cleveland Sports Talk, Dawg Pound Daily. They get that out there to the public. So,
oh man, we're down 100%. We will make everyone love Perion and Isaiah even more, and we'll make everyone understand why you guys maybe make you understand why you drafted Mike Woods. I'm not sure, but
thank you for having
he's misunderstood too. It's kind of
we're a lot of fun talking to you guys. You guys are great. So. Keep up the good work and doing all that. I'm sure the fans of Oklahoma really love you. I'll still be a Buckeye fan, so you can, I'll come on anytime.
Enjoy Stroud for one more year. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. You have a good one.
Thank you.